Hello, folks. Welcome to another information session with Education Services. My name is Dr. Philippa Fabry, and I'm an education consultant. And I'm here to solve any learning or school-related issues and concerns. And it is open house season at the moment in our city, where parents are attending open days and schools are putting their best foot forward, trying to encourage the best children coming through their doors, and it's really quite a stressful time. And I'm getting a lot of queries from parents asking for my opinion as to, what is the best school for where we are staying, where we are living. And I always say to them, there's no perfect school, but there's the perfect school for your child. And so that is why we are talking about how to select the right school for your child. It's so important that when we're looking at schools, and it's quite a stressful time for a lot of parents, because we never want to make the mistake. We never want to base our decision on, what someone else is saying, or what the school, the top schools are providing. It's not necessarily what's going on at the schools, but it's what's going on inside your child. And I think that's the bottom line. So I'm hoping to go through some of the questions that hopefully you as parents are considering while you're looking at schools. And it doesn't really matter where you are in the journey or on the journey. You could be right at the beginning of the journey, and your little one could be at the moment, still at home, and you're looking at where they could go for preschool. So whether your child is 2 or 3, and they might just be at a daycare, and now you're looking to move them into Triple Nought or a more formal preschool. That is where you are now. If that is you, I'm going to first be speaking about this stage, because what you're going to be looking at for your little one when they're starting preschool is going to be very different to what you're going to be looking at when your child is going into high school. But I think let's just start at the beginning of the staircase. So, what's so important is that you need to really know your child inside and out. And when you are thinking of the school for your child, it's going to be very much based on you and your family and your situation, your financial, what's affordable for your family, and you're going to gather information. And I think what's important is that you gather information from lots of different sources, right? Don't just ask your friends where are they sending their children, but you need to be gathering information from many different sources, whether it's social media, whether it's printed brochures, whether it's websites, visiting the open days, going to the schools, and all those opportunities that arise. So number one, most important, know your child inside and out, their personality, their character, what they, I suppose, where they would be the most comfortable. Know your family situation. You'd obviously need to know the schools in your area so that you're not spending an hour in the car getting to the school every day. You need to also know, what's important is, who should have the final say at the end of the day. Obviously, when you're looking at preschools, as the parent, you would have the final say, but when it comes to high school, remember, it's your child that's sitting in that desk for 6-7 hours a day, 5 days a week, not you. So you need to involve them as far as possible when they are older and you're looking at the high schools. And the first thing when you do visit a school is, how does it feel? What's the feeling you get when you walk into that building for the first time? That's very important. So let's go then and have a look at preschools. So at this stage, consider the fact that, preschool is all about play, and it's all about learning through doing and playing and being around other children so that their language is developing, so that they have opportunities to dress up and work with sand and Play-Doh and lots of perceptual games and activities and things like that. And you want to know that your child is going to be safe and that where they're going is clean and hygienic. It has a pleasant smell when you walk in, and that the people who work there are happy, seeming to be happy and love the children, because at the end of the day, it's going to be your child's home away from home. They are going to be amongst other people that are substituting you when you're not with your child. So, it must be a loving home away from home, clean, safe, hygienic, and that the person, I think, who's in charge of that preschool or pre-primary, I think they do need to be qualified. In my opinion, I think somebody who runs a preschool needs to have, a qualification in education, and that the program that they're following is relatively structured. And when I say structured, I don't mean that kids are sitting at desks and they are doing worksheets all day and not getting a chance to play. I'm saying structured in that there's balance between playing, working at a table, on the floor, being outside, doing gross motor, doing fine motor, listening to stories, language development, and all of that. So that the program for the day incorporates all those different elements as well. And then obviously as a parent, you would want to know maybe if they offer aftercare in the afternoon if you work. So does the school have an opportunity? Does the school offer aftercare so that your little one then can stay, have some lunch, have a nap time, and that they are going to be cared for until such time that you can fetch them. So that's the primary school. And I think it's also very important to note that we are not wanting our children to be already reading by the time they start grade 1. So don't be thinking, I need to find a pre-primary that's already going to start schoolwork with my child. I don't think that's the key here. I think the key is finding a preschool where your child is going to be loved unconditionally, that they're going to be nurtured, cared for, and they can develop. And if things are not going well, so there does seem to be some concerns with learning barriers or maybe some developmental delay, that the school will pick it up and inform you about that. I think that's also so important. We understand the importance of early intervention and trying to get these issues, if they are, starting early, to get the children support as soon as possible. So that's preschool. So now we move on to grade 1. And when your kids are now starting formal school, you're looking for a primary school. And some of the schools already have a grade R attached. So it's an automatic feed into the primary school starting grade 1. But I think in this situation, and I did say know your child and know what their needs are, again, look at the child being at the center. And these are some of the things that I would be looking at considering a primary school for my child. So my child's language, the language of instruction, I would want that to be the home language, and that the language of instruction at the school is the same. I would want to know that there is sufficient sports or cultural activities or extramurals after school. I would want to know that there will be enough children that my child can make friends with, so that his social development is looked after, that there are, remedial classes, or there's intervention or support if my child's learning is impaired, or that I know that there's a support team if my child does need extra classes or remedial or specific support interventions, that there is that as well, if that is what my child requires. And then looking at, again, is there an aftercare or somewhere for my child to go after school if I cannot fetch because I'm working. So looking at outside then of the school, so my child's needs come first, the academic needs come first, then we look at sport, cultural, extramural support. And then looking at, okay, the distance from home, my affordability. Do I want a private school or a government school? Do I want, there to be specific aftercare, as I said already, in the afternoon, because I can't fetch from work, that there is siblings, if the child has siblings, that they're at the same school. Possibly that's convenient for me, because then all, my children are at the same school. So that all has to be taken into account. And then also the leadership of the school. Again, who is the leadership? What is the staff? What's the size of the classes? And then also looking at things like the facilities, the fields, what the school looks like from the outside. And then I suppose, is there an active board or PTA, Parent Teachers Association? Does the school seem to be doing things and is proactive? There's outreach happening. There is an active social media. They've got a website, and it all seems to be working, well. I want to see that when I look at a school from the outside. Before I've even gone into the school building, these are some of the things that I would want to be looking at when I'm doing my research. And then going and looking at, grade 8. Now my child is in grade 7, and now we're looking at a high school. And this is probably, the most, this is the situation where now I think your child has got a big say, or should have a big say, because now you've got a track record. You've got, how were they doing in primary school? Were there any issues that came up? For example, things like things that your child will avoid doing, or things that they don't sign up for, whether they play lots of sport or whether they're not interested in sport. How are their marks? What is their learning style like? Have there been any concerns coming from the teachers while they've been at primary school? Because these are some of the clues that would help me identify my child's needs now moving into the next stage, grade 8, 9, and then when they have to choose their subjects for grade 10, again, looking at what those subjects are. What are the combinations of subjects that school offer? Looking at your child's personality and character. Do they require lots of friends, or are they somebody that prefers just one or two, or a small circle of friends? What are their learning needs? Do they require extra support? They might need extra maths classes, or remedial in English. So does the school offer those as well after school? What is the sport and cultural activities like? And again, what do I feel when I go to the school? Now, open days are a different story. When you go to a school's open day, you should be going, wow, this is amazing. It's incredible. They put their best foot forward. Everything is on display. And they want you to be going, oh, wow, this is the school I want my child to go to. But now you've got to compare the school on their off days. So if you had to arrive at the school unannounced, what would the reception be like? If you're visiting the school because your child has a sports match, and you happen to be now talking to teachers or talking to parents at that school, what are they saying? Speak to the parents, speak to the teachers, speak to other children who go to that school. Are they proud of their school? What are some of the issues that they are having at the school? You almost have to be a private investigator in a way, and make sure you get answers from the different sources that you have at your disposal. And so that's why my suggestion is to try and visit the school when it's not on show, when they don't have open days, and see what the feeling is there. You can go into a school and straight away feel, I don't think my child's going to fit in here. It just doesn't feel homely. Perhaps it's too academic. Perhaps there's too much focus on sport and not enough on the academics, or whatever it is. So, first impressions are important, but they are also not the be all and end all. So to try and visit when it isn't an open day might be a good idea. Try and find out as well about communication from school. So how often does the school communicate with the parent body? And how often do you as the parent get communications from the teacher? Do they have a platform that you can find out more? Is there a D6 communicator? Is there a portal on the website for parents to go in and access work or go and see the marks or whatever it is? What's the communication like? You know, if are teachers happy that they give out email addresses, or are parents, you know, invited to contact the teacher for, you know, important information, not willy-nilly, but if there's something that you need to know. And the most important thing, again, is to make sure your child is part of the process, because they are the ones that are going to be sitting in that class for 7 hours a day, 5 days a week. So involve them. They must also ask questions. It's not just about where the friends go. That's part of it. But if your child has different needs to what the friends' needs are, you're going to be putting your child in a situation or in a learning environment that might not be the most suitable for their specific needs. So it's so important to do your due diligence, go and investigate behind the scenes about the school, ask people, try and visit the school, try and have conversations with people who are already there, with teachers who work there, students who are there, and then wherever possible, try and visit and get a sense and a feel for that school yourself. And then I've also been asked about non-traditional options. So obviously, thanks to COVID, lots of different learning places have cropped up. And I'm not just talking about, a learning center or a home school, because home school actually means you as the parent are schooling your children at home yourself. Homeschooling is not someone else is homeschooling my child, because that's not homeschooling. So making sure that you understand, if you're going to homeschool your child, it means at home with you, and that you are in charge of that academic path. You sourcing the curriculum, you understand the difference between the CAPS curriculum, the South African government curriculum, versus a Cambridge type curriculum, versus an IEB curriculum, versus something else, that you know what kind of work you're going to be expecting your child to do. And then again, if online learning is something that you're wanting your child to do, again, is it online at home where there's live teaching happening, or is it online pre-recorded lessons and your child is just having to sit there and watch a pre-recorded lesson with slides and PowerPoint presentations, which again is not always the best way to have engagement and full cooperation and everything from your child. So just make sure that if you're not going the traditional route and you're deciding to do a homeschooling type path, homeschooling is at home with you, you are the teacher, versus learning centers or tutor centers where the children are going and someone else is doing the teaching and the academic responsibility falls on someone else, although you're still the one paying the fees. So, make sure that, again, that person is sufficiently qualified in education, they know what they're doing, and that they have a heart for children, and it's not just seen as a business for them. So the curriculum is important, and make sure that you understand the difference between the different curricula that there is. And then the virtual versus the online school. Is it pre-recorded? Is it online, face-to-face, live lessons, or self-study type lessons? Again, that's also very, very important. And then just quickly talking about the difference between a Montessori type school, if you're going back to the school option, the Montessori versus Reggio Emilia versus a Crawford or a Curro or something like that, that you also know the differences there. It's just different educational philosophies that as a parent, you need to just understand what they stand for and the different approaches that they have. So I hope that's been helpful. What I do have is quite a comprehensive blueprint with all these questions that I've gone through very, very quickly tonight. I've only literally touched on some of the areas that you need to be looking at for your child. But honestly, and again, your child is the one sitting in the classroom. So you need to know your child inside and out before deciding on a school. Please don't decide on a school because it's where you went or the father went or the family went. So there's the tradition there. Those schools are fantastic, but they may not be the right ones for your child. So make sure your child is at the center. And then from there, you work on what's the right school for my pocket, for convenience sake, for in my area, and what we're requiring as a family, where the other siblings are. So those questions that I'm referring to, I have a blueprint PDF. It's about 5 pages, very comprehensive. And if you would like that, please pop me an email, info@educationservices.co.za, and I'll send that along to you. So info@educationservices, if you would like that school selection blueprint, it's a PDF that can be emailed to you straight away. So thank you for watching. Remember to keep follow our Education Services page and group so that you can keep in touch with us and you know what other webinars and online discussions there are. And yes, good luck with this decision. It's not easy. It's really, really not easy. And if you have any questions or concerns and you want somebody to give you an objective opinion or just to have a listen and let talk through some of your concerns, talk through your child, and you're just wanting somebody to have a listen and possibly provide a little bit more guidance, you're more than welcome to contact us as well at Education Services. All right, but thank you so much for watching, and we wish you a very happy evening. And it's Easter. My eggs. Yeah. Easter eggs are coming soon. So we've been excited about Easter coming up. All right, so all the best, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.